Sega did something yesterday that I actually believed was actually never going to happen. And it was something I was fairly shocked. They shadow dropped a Sonic game. And it really caught me off guard. I was scrolling through YouTube and then I saw that they officially announced the launch of The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a point-and-click game where you find out about a murder mystery that the whole gang of Sonic characters are playing in a train. Now, obviously, this game is a very vast different game than a usual Sonic game. It's a bit of a side game. It's a little, it's a little crumble in the cookie, as you could say, about what Sonic is. There's some elements that has Sonic in it. For instance, we'll talk about the Sonic minigame you play basically throughout the game. But this game does have an interesting story, of course, as they try to tackle a murder mystery story. And it's a pretty interesting one. I'm not gonna be honest. I was actually very indulged while playing this game and just finding out the mystery itself. Now, obviously, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously, as you can tell in the name. They're playing a murder mystery game in a train with the conductor who is planning to retire after their stay here on the train. Now, obviously, the reason why they're playing this murder mystery game, the reason why they went on this train is to celebrate Amy's birthday. Amy's birthday is on the day that they went to this train and to play a murder mystery game for her birthday, and also, you just have to solve it and find out who the murderer is. And it's all fun and games, at least for the first hour and a half. The last half hour of the game, you really get into a very interesting and unique situation with these characters. But before we begin that, and just talking about more about it, I was very intrigued by the fact that you're a character and you're basically trying to solve all these mysteries with the Sonic characters. That's right, you are given a character and you're able to name the person. However, what's very funny to me is there's an Easter egg in this where if you try to name the character Phoenix or Phoenix Wright, obviously the character from Ace Attorney, they actually won't allow you, which is a funny Easter egg even in itself. I actually really loved that. That was really cool. But yeah, aside from that, the game is very bare bones. It's very straightforward. It's a point and click game. You basically just keep clicking the mouse or the space bar to get through the game. And you're basically just searching through every train car to find out clues about what's happening and who murdered Sonic in the murder mystery game. However, it does take a very interesting turn. Most of the time, they were blaming Shadow because of him locking the cars and stuff like that. But in reality, I always had a feeling it was a Shadow because I would feel like it's too obvious. And I feel like with the way Sega does storytelling now, especially after how Sonic Frontiers went, I feel like they now know what to do in terms of the story, and it really was cool. I also love the connection and relationship that your created character makes with Tails. Tails is definitely the character you spend the majority of the time with in this game, as you're basically a duo just navigating through all the train cars and finding out the clues into what's really going on here and who actually murdered Sonic in the murder mystery game. Again, it's a cool take on Tails' character. You definitely spend a lot of time with him, and it's very interesting to see him in this light where he's basically, finding out all these different clues and just looking around and going very into attention to detail, which is something that I was really, obviously, if there's any character that could really be a good detective, obviously be Tails, because he always has the insights into things and stuff like that. But what's very interesting is finding out when SBO was the murderer, at least how it went. That was really funny, him using a blow dart and stuff to knock Sonic out and basically make him go to sleep, which is really funny because of a card he received that was from the staff, which was the train. And it's a very interesting plot twist. The train in itself is dangerous. The train is trying to bring all the passengers and transport them to Eggman because Eggman is planning to take them over there. And it's very intriguing because all the train wants is to make sure that the conductor never leaves them, because obviously the conductor is planning to retire after 32 years of working in the train industry. Now, I do want to say, there's a Sonic minigame you play while you're interrogating. Every time they tell you to bring up a piece of evidence, as soon as you click the piece of evidence you're going to present to the characters, you have to play the Sonic minigame, that you play on a Dream Gear. Obviously, it is a knockoff to the Sega Game Gear. And then you just play this game with Sonic. Basically, it feels like a special stage where all you do is collect rings, and then you're able to, finally, after you complete it and have the amount of rings that you need, you basically present the evidence to the characters, which is really nice. And it's really insane to me that they brought some of these characters back. Like, we got Blaze back, Vector and Espio are here. It's just great to see. And what's interesting is they reference a lot of Sonic's past in this game. They referenced a lot of Sonic Unleashed with Spagonia. Professor Pickle was brought up during this game. Super Monkey Ball, another Sega franchise, was being brought up when you go in the salon car, and when Knuckles and Vector talk about them playing Super Monkey Ball on the arcade machine that's in there, which is really insane. And even there's references to Sonic Frontiers. Sage was shown at the very end of this game once you get the ending, which is like insane that this is technically continuing on the storyline of Frontiers because Sage is a part of this, which is really insane. And even Metal Sonic is shown at the end here, which is crazy. But again, this game really just showed me that they're really wanting to do more for the Sonic franchise, and I really do feel that with Sega right now, and with the game, and with this game. It's crazy because this game is literally only supposed to be a side game. It's supposed to be just something for the Sonic fan base to have, right? And I actually enjoyed my experience with this game. Now, obviously, it's a very different take on Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, but it's a side game. It's not a mainline game, obviously, as you can tell. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is a very interesting and unique take on the characters, and I love that it feels like an experimentation factor. Like, it feels like they're trying to experiment with this cast and just putting them in these scenarios. Like, for instance, a murder mystery scenario with these characters and see them interact and find out how they are gonna go around this and basically find out who did murder Sonic in the murder mystery game was just insane. It was a fun experience. I was very indulged in what was going on, and the way how you interact and find clues was very cool. I do like it. Again, it's a cool game to have an experience. I personally really liked what was going on here, and personally, if I were to say anything, I think this is a great game to play if you want anything to do in your free time. If you want a Sonic game to just play just for the fucks of it, the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is probably for you. The final thing I'm going to say is this is a very unique time this game is coming out. March 31st, the last day of the month, and this is coming out a few months before Sonic Origins Plus, which definitely makes me wonder, are they going to be releasing more stuff like this, like more side stuff for us to do? Because this is the first Sonic game to release this year. Literally, it's official. Like, this is literally the first game that came out this year. In terms of Sonic content, of course, Frontiers DLC 1 is obviously the first thing to come out this year, but in terms of a full-fledged game that came out, this is the first one that came out this year. So I'm very excited to see what potentially else is going to be coming out soon. And yeah, but as of right now, if I could say anything to you guys, I would probably say that the Murder Sonic the Hedgehog was honestly just great to see them experiment with the characters in a different scenario, but also to see what the potential holds for the future of Sonic the Hedgehog and what they're planning to release in the near future.